Hi everyone, my name is Khoa and this is my dad.
Hi.
We will be talking about how things are different now from long ago. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Let's get started. Here are the questions. The topic of question 1 is communication. How did people communicate long ago?
People, apart from talking face to face, when people want to communicate in long distance, they usually they could send a letter, or they could use the telephone. The telephone back then was different from the mobile phone nowadays, which is the most popular means of communications, and social media, social network. But the telephone was basically bound, it was immobile, and it was bound at home. It was something that you keep on the table of your family, and then when it works in the same way, you call the number and you reach that number, and the person, someone from the other end, pick up and you can talk.
How long would it take to send letters?
It depends on how far away you are. If within the same cities, then if you send a letters for someone in the same cities, then it didn't take long, maybe a day or two. If you send to a different city, then it depends on how far away the cities are apart. Maybe 3-5 days or even weeks for the letter to reach.
How much would it cost to send letters?
Again, it depends on how far away and how far away the cities are apart from each other. But it didn't cost much to send letters. If you wanted to send heavier objects, then it's still the way it cost was calculated is the same way as now, by how much it weighed, but it didn't take much. Usually you paid by putting a stamp on the letter, actually, because the stamp could only be bought at the post office, and for each letter, if you attach a stamp on the envelope of the letter, and that's considered payment because you bought the stamp from the post office.
Did you ever post a letter?
I actually did, but it was only once. I sent a letter to a friend whom I met during a trip with family. Of course, our parents, which is your grandparents, and his grandparents, and his parents, the exchange contact, and I sent a letter to the address they gave me, but I never got anything back, unfortunately.
This is the next question. The topic of question 2 is about traveling. How did people travel to places far away?
To travel to places far away, back in the most common way I did back then was by train. Sometimes I was able to travel by car. I never actually got on an airplane until I was 15 years old. But the trains and cars and ships, if you travel on water, like through to an island or overseas, was also common. It took way longer than airplane travel by airplane, because a flight ticket used to be way more expensive compared to every other method.
How did you get to school when you were young?
How I went to school very close by to our house when I was little. So at that time, I only had to walk to school. It was only a few hundred meters away. And when I got into high school, I went to school on a bicycle.
How long would it take you to come to school?
It wasn't when I had to walk. It was very close, so maybe 5 minutes. And when I had to cycle to school in my high school, it was about 10-15 minutes. It wasn't that far, and the traffic used to be much better back then.
Did you ever travel to far places?
Yes, I did. Your grandparents was able to take me on a summer trip once in a while, and we traveled to different cities in Vietnam, or sometimes we went to visit my grandparents in a different city as well.
Wow. Here is the third question. The topic of question 3 is about news. How did you get news when you were younger?
When I was younger, people had only the radio or TV, or turn on the TV for the news. And in the morning, usually people can get the newest newspaper, if you have ever seen a newspaper, or magazine sometimes, but mostly for news is newspaper. And people would go to a street vendor outside, and they would usually sell newspaper from different publishers, and depending on the topics that they are interested in, or the headlines of the newspaper that caught their eyes, they would pick the one that they really want to read and pick it up and read it like you read a book now. Compared to nowadays, you have a lot of different means. You don't need to turn on the TVs anymore. You have internet, a lot more ways to consume news. But back then, it was only mostly newspaper, sometimes the radio and TV.
So when you were younger, you only used a radio and the TV to get the news?
No, I didn't use the radio much, because the radio was still popular, I was too young. I couldn't understand anything, and so mostly I got it from watching TV. After when I start to understand what news is, and then I sometimes read newspaper as well.
Do you think it's easier to get the news nowadays?
Yes, 100%. You have internet everywhere, and you have so many different ways to so many more devices, and so much more convenience to access the news, like mobile phone, iPad, or etc. You have more, even on TVs you have more news channels. Even like before, you could only get the news when you're at home, right? Or when now you can get news when you are moving, when you are driving, or you can listen to the car's radio, or when you're traveling, you can read the news on your phone. Like, it's so much easier nowadays, of course.
Now here's the question number 4. How often did people go out and eat long ago?
It wasn't common to go out and eat long ago, because it used to be something very expensive. So only on special occasions we would go out to eat. So maybe once a month when it's someone's birthday, not even that. But it used to be way less frequent compared to nowadays.
Now this is the last question. Question number 5. How did people have fun long ago?
People had fun long ago. Yeah, the way people had fun changed. We, as kid, I was always outside playing with my friends, with like not only sports like football or basketball, but also we play with a lot. We had a lot of traditional games. We could play kick the can, play hide and seek. A lot of more games that nowadays difficult for children to play, simply because they make too much noise, and the adults or the neighbors would complain. And so yeah, especially in cities. But yes, we used to have a lot more different games that we play outside compared to nowadays.
Long ago, people only play sports or traditional games, but now they also play computer games.
Yes, exactly. Computer games, console games, and like even now you have popular board games that is very has become very popular amongst the youth as well. Maybe you would grow into one. You would grow to like one of those board games one day.
Alright, thank you, Dad. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.